Good morning. I'm going to make a race to the finish. This is the 78th video in this series, but it's potentially the last one. I thought I was going to have three actually left because I wanted to satisfy Wayne's wish to discuss animals a little bit more, and I gladly could. I thought I'd do that. But the other two I'll pack in here. The next to the last was going to be my writings. I just really kind of wanted to name certain ones of my writings. Now, this is nonfiction. I'm saving fiction for the last, you'll see. And there's a couple that I want to mention. They're in my Google Drive, so I'll see if I can find a way to put links on the description here. It might be a very long description to this video, I don't know. But the reason I'm rushing to the finish is because this cold, this influenza type A, it's the cough. It would go away naturally, but I cough so hard that I feel like I broke a rib. I think I separated cartilage or something like that. And now what happens if you can't cough without intense pain? So I just thought, I better finish this in case I can't later. Anyway, so of those writings, two that I want to mention are the last will and and testament for Frank School. After I die, if Frank School dies, then I thought, well, I'll write a last will and testament for that. One of the reasons I did that was because about 4 years ago, I think it's been now, I came very close to dying. I mean, I exploded my spleen from falling on a jar, and had to be life flighted to Altoona, and they didn't know if I was going to make it. But after that happened, I thought, I better write up a last will and testament, not for myself, that's done, but for the school. So there's a record of, well, what did I try to do here with the school? And right along with it is an obituary for the school. A strange thing to do maybe, but I did them. And anyway, they can be found in that Google Drive, I think, and I'll go looking for them. All right, that was next to the last. Now, for the last one, I was going to give this introduction. When I was a freshman at Harvard, just starting the first week, I was 19. I remember they gathered us freshmen together, and we had to listen to 3 lectures, all of us, in a big auditorium. And what they did is they presented each one of the 3 large groups of the curriculum. There were the natural sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities. There was basically a propagandist for each one of those to try to help freshmen decide what direction do you want to go in. Natural sciences, geology, social sciences, history, and the humanities, the arts. And I was swayed in that. I mean, I made my choice. I decided it's going to be the humanities. And there was the lecturer, one of the things he pointed out was that 3,000 years ago almost, when Homer sang about the men about to go into battle at the Trojan War, and he gave them those words and expressed those thoughts, that hasn't changed. When men go to war now, or women go to war now, they have those same thoughts, those fears, rumors spread and things. It doesn't change. And that was just part of the lecture, but but anyway, it changed me. And so the arts, that's going to be my last subject here. The arts at Frank School, a history of them and a potential future of them. And I'm just really listing because this is really a rush to the finish. Can't read my writing. Oh, this is the doozy that I said, because it would be huge. It will be if I return now and go back to it in detail. But I'm just kind of listing them. there are the visual arts. I'm not very strong in the visual arts. I can't draw, but I have friends. I have some very good friends that are great visual artists. And so the potential is there, but I can't offhand really name individual works from the visual arts. Uh, there are the performing arts. Well, the performing arts I'm much better at. Choral music, there was a history here of doing, there still is a memory in this community of the Dutch Corner Concert Choir. And we performed most of the most famous choral works in the Western world, in the world really. Even though we were just a little choir, we all on amateurs, we did a good job with almost all of them. That was the reason I built the addition up here, so that I had a place that I could comfortably rehearse my little choir that wasn't in a church, because I wanted to do some of the music that was not sacred. And well, let me get to the other performing arts example, and that is Shakespeare. While I was teaching public school, I created, along with some students of mine, to get it started when they were in 8th grade, I think, maybe 7th, the Shakespearean troupe. And before we were done, we had made about 25 productions of Shakespearean plays. Not 25 plays, because we did some over. Much Ado About Nothing, for example, we probably did that 3 times. But in the process of it, when we did Romeo and Juliet, there was going to be a balcony scene. And I decided, well, I'll build a set. I'm a builder. I've got lumber I can come up with. The school actually came up with some money for me for lumber too. Although this was not paid. I couldn't have convinced the school board to support this. I didn't even try. I did it on my own spare time after school in summers. But we put on, as I say, 25 productions, and most of them, there were a few of them that weren't that good. And they were the original words. They weren't dumbed down for little kids. No, we edited them to shorten them for the audience as much as for the kids. So what that has to do with Frank's School is that down there in Thomas Hockling Hall is the theater, the set that I built for performing Romeo and Juliet. And then we would take it down, bring it out, stack it up here somewhere, next plate, take it in, we used that set about 8 times, where I trucked it in, ended up taking about 3 pickup truck loads to get it in, set it up, and now it has a permanent place there. And there it is waiting for performing arts. It just needs to be cleaned up and neatened up, and it could go again. There's even a grand piano out there now too, which isn't in that great a shape. So the performing arts. Now, the narrative arts, that's going to be my last one. And some of the narrative arts is in poetry. This book, I should get it out, hold it up again. This is called We're Alive, and it has writings, creative. I mean, this is the arts. This isn't, well, no, a lot of it actually is exposition. But I'm talking about creative arts. Michael Herncane and I put that stuff together, and in there is a lot of fiction that is set in the it's called the Overtree Works. We came up with a fictitious name for this area called Overtree, and so the Overtree Works are there. Michael Herncane and I also did duels of poetry, 4 of them between us, and then I dueled somebody else. You see, I'm rushing through this. I could go back and maybe we'll tell you more about it. I had written under poetry, I'd written one Christmas a work 42 stanzas long based on John Keats' The Eve of St. Agnes. I called it The Eve of Christmas. So there's that. I taught my students in school how to write verse, and we came up with the Song of Marion's Daughter one year that I had juniors and seniors, the Song of Marion's Daughter. And then later on, I got started, but it's just a fragment called the Song of, the Song of Marion was what I did with the students. That was in around 1980. Yeah, probably. And then the Song of Marion's Daughter, I did got started with other students. I found that the younger kids had more trouble. Well, it wasn't even so much that. It was just that by that time the state had got so intrusive in what I was doing, it was harder to get it done. So the Overtree Works, poetry, mentioned them. And then finally, finally, I am convinced that the only way that the changes are going to be made, that have to be made, is to get people's minds to change. And it's not going to be done. Scientists have done their best. Politicians can't do it. It's going to come down to the arts. The artists are going to have to do it. And I don't regard myself as an artist, but in spite of that, on 2 occasions, I have thrown myself into that attempt. The first one was I wrote I did it online, actually, you can see it, a screenplay called Resurrection. I changed the name to Hope later on. And I tried to find a way to make a movie that was wordless, no words, so it didn't depend on language, that presented a story that, if it could be widely accepted, it would inspire people to want to make the changes that are necessary. I could only take it so far. It didn't go that far. And the other one I'm currently working on is called The Pergola Pump, and here I am. I'm finally back here. The Pergola Pump. It is a novel. It will be very long. I started writing it. Now I'm telling it. And it's got about 8 books to it. It's going to be like War and Peace in terms of how long it is. And that novel is my effort to do the best I can with the narrative arts. So that's it. And I made it through it without coughing too bad. Bye for now.